I'm sure that as I make these videos, I'm sensing that you're wondering, you're going to ask me, well, Brett, I understand what you're saying, but can you break it down to be a little more simplistic, or give me some steps, some actual steps? And that makes total sense, because when you're going through something like that, sometimes the information can seem a little bit overwhelming. I 100% get it. So my whole intention in making these videos on these channels is to share my story of how I beat debilitating depression, paralyzing anxiety, major suicidal ideation, and have been off meds for over two or 3 years now, after being prescribed over 25 medications. So I know what I did, and I'm sharing that with you on these videos, and I love the feedback you guys are giving. I love when you ask questions and respond and thumbs up and subscribe and all that cool stuff. At the same time, the questions that I want to answer are going to help you understand how this process actually works. And the way it works is that, and you got to stick with me here, I'm going to break it down, like I said, keep it super simple. It's profound, it's effective, and when you hear it for the first time, it can seem confusing. I get it. At first, you may even reject it. No, I understand that too. There's no doubt that could happen. Reject it, neglect it, or accept it, right? Or just understand, try to understand it and understand how it works. So our senses, I'm on the other side of that depression right now, but if you're going through it, what's happening is that you're consciously aware that you are depressed, right? You're in a state of depression, consciously aware of that. Okay, great, got that. You understand that part. The problem with that is that you're not seeing beyond your senses. Your senses are telling you that you're depressed, how shitty you feel, how hopeless you may feel, how bad life sucks, what that person said to you, how they treated you, all that shit that's going through the loop right now, creating these feelings inside you. I've been there. I have been where you're at. I suffered for years from that shit, that major depression, the heaviness of the darkness and the gloom and the hopelessness. I feel your pain. At the same time, what I can tell you is that when you override your senses, because your senses again are saying to you how you feel. Now here's where you got to stick with me. When you override your senses and you tap into your most creative power, which is what? The imagination, right? And speaking for myself, I can honestly tell you, and I take full responsibility for the choices I made to put my ass into a deep state of depression. I admit that. Okay, I understand how this works, so now I can see that looking back. You may not be able to see it right now, which is fine. What I want to say is this: your most creative power is your imagination. Okay? When you tap into your most creative power, the imagination, to override your current circumstances, your senses are telling you, right? Override your senses that are defining and showing and depicting and justifying your situation. Override that with the creative imagination and press upon the subconscious mind how you would like to feel. And that's going to be your very first baby step. Small steps equal big gains. And if you missed that, let me say it again. Use your most creative power, the imagination, to override your senses that are telling you and confirming your current state of depression, anxiety, whatever you're going through. So how do you do that? Okay, Brett, I got that. I'm going to use my imagination to start feeling differently. Well, how does that work? What you want to do, what I did, I'm sharing with you again, like an open book. What I did, once I understood this concept, and Dispenza says it so well, and he's the one, Joe Dispenza, is the one who got me thinking this way and helped me to ascend to a higher level of living. What I did is that I tailored that. I customized it. I had to feel it, right? So the imagination, I allowed my imagination to get to a place where it just felt the space of the universe. The energy just feel the space. Now, this may sound weird. It may sound woo-woo. It may sound hokey. But I'm telling you, when it starts working, it's not going to sound so woo-woo, right? So when I'm laying in bed or in my meditation, back in my deepest days of depression, my deepest years, I would imagine myself just being the energy of the universe. Okay? Now you may say, what the fuck does that mean? Well, what that means is that the energy, the same energy that created the entire universe, all the stars, the planets, the sun, the moon, everything, the same energy created you. Think about this. We're in a world that rotates, right? Think about it. If you really, really ponder that, that's fucking bizarre that this world actually rotates, right? We're in a world that rotates. We're in a world that the sun rises with nobody controlling it. There's an energy that's doing that on its own. Same thing when you eat and when you sleep. There's a lot of shit that goes on in the body that we're not in control. It just happens. There's an energy that's taking place in your body and it just happens, right? Just because we don't understand it doesn't mean it's not true. You know, I could only blame ignorance for so long. But once I understood it, I had to start, and I applied it, I started to see the results in my life. If you can get to a point, and even if you have to lay in the bed and say, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna try this. Okay, I'm gonna try this, what this dude Brett's talking about on Be Fucking Bold. I'm gonna try this baby step. Here's your first baby step that I would suggest to you. When you're laying in bed, okay, before you even get out of bed in the morning, before you start fucking around the cell phone, what you wanna do is imagine how you would feel if you could feel the space that's in the bedroom. Start with the bedroom. How would I feel if the dominant feeling in my body was the space in this room? Now, I can promise you the space in that room is not depressed. It's not anxious. It's not hopeless. It's none of that negative shit. It's just space. It's just a feeling of freedom. Now, at the first, again, it may sound weird to you, and this may sound like, okay, wait a minute, what's this guy talking about? But look at me. I escaped suicide. I had debilitating depression, paralyzing anxiety, over 25 medications. I had insomnia so bad I couldn't sleep for not months, but years at end. I'm on the other side of it now. So what I'm sharing with you is what worked for me. Does it work for everybody? No, nothing does. There's not one thing for everybody, but there's something for somebody. And maybe you're on this channel and you come across my channel and these videos saying, wait a minute, I've tried a lot of other shit. It's not working. Let me give this a shot. Okay? And when you're laying in bed and you're becoming the feeling of just being the space in that bedroom, what you may realize after doing it consistently is that you start to feel freedom. Because, like I said, there's no negative energy in that room. It's just energy, right? Your brain, when you impress upon the brain, whatever you impress upon the subconscious mind, whatever you impress here will be expressed out there and inside here. Do you know that? Do you realize that? That when you program the brain by using the mind, thoughts, and you pair it with an elevated emotion, you're going to start feeling it. Because right now, you're feeling it. You're feeling the weight of depression. You're feeling the weight of anxiety. You're feeling the weight of hopelessness. You're feeling all those negative feelings. You're feeling all of them because why? Because there's a program going on right here that's producing an energy in the body, and that's why you're feeling it. Energy is never created or destroyed. It only changes form. How do you change the form of the energy? Change how you think. And how do you change the way you think? What are you placing your thoughts upon? If you're overriding your senses, right? Your senses, how you feel, how you smell, how you see, what you taste, all your ordinary senses are keeping you in a cycle of depression. Rise above that by using your creative power of the imagination. And how would you feel if you did not feel depressed? If you said to yourself, I am experiencing, because let me back up. Right now you're saying, I am depressed. I am anxious. I feel, I am. How about this? I am experiencing emotional freedom. Okay, now stop with that. What does emotional freedom feel like to you? We all have our own definition of it, right? And that's going to evoke a feeling inside your body. And when you do it consistently, and you do it long enough, and you start to create that feeling in the body, the brain has to respond. I know it sounds kind of bizarre. I get it, but it's true. The brain will respond to how you feel. It'll respond to what you tell it, right? And it's going to evoke feelings in the body. If you pair an elevated emotion with that thought, your body's going to feel it. Just like it's feeling the state you're in now. The dominant feeling always wins. So what is your dominant feeling right now? I'm going to guess it's maybe despair, it's hopelessness, it's sadness, it's not healthy, right? It's not a positive feeling. Can I say that? So why not start with something small and say, how would I feel if the dominant feeling in my body was the feeling of the space in this room? Try it. Hit me back. Be fucking bold. And I'll see you in the next video.